This was like national interest, and nobody had any curiosity about, who did this to Danny.
The oldest son of accused murder mastermind Donna Adelson testifies against her as her daughter Wendi Adelson returns to the stand.
I was not involved in any plot to kill Danny.
I look at the top moments from the testimony of Donna Adelson's children so far. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Angenette Levy. Wendi. The trial of Donna Adelson for the conspiracy to murder Dan Markel feels like it's all about her daughter, Wendi Adelson. Wendi was the ex-wife of Dan Markel, the Florida State University Law School professor who was shot to death by two hitmen in his garage in July 2014. The case is absolutely tragic. Prosecutors in Tallahassee say the Adelsons conspired to murder Dan Markel because of the contentious custody battle between Wendi and Dan over their two sons. Charlie Adelson, Wendi's older brother, is serving a life sentence for his role in the conspiracy, although he is appealing and he's expected to testify in this trial. His ex-girlfriend, Katie Meg Benoit, was convicted at her second trial for her role in hiring the two hitmen to kill Dan Markel, but she's now a state's witness. Meg Benoit has admitted to connecting Charlie to Latin Kings gang members to carry out the hit. Those were the father of her children, Sigfredo Garcia, and his best friend, Luis Rivera. Wendi Adelson and her father, Harvey Adelson, are named unindicted co-conspirators. And now Donna Adelson is on trial for her role in Markel's murder. She's pleaded not guilty. She says she had nothing to do with it. Dan Markel was, of course, Wendi's ex-husband, and the murder plot centers around her wanting to move to Miami with the children. Now, earlier, Luis Rivera, he testified about his part in the murder of Dan Markel. Take a look.
And what was the purpose of this murder as you understood it?
That they wanted the kids.
Who wanted the kids?
Wendi.
Okay. And did you understand that you were killing the father of the kids so that Wendi could have the kids?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you previously referred to a dentist being involved?
Yes, ma'am.
Who was the dentist?
Charlie.
And how was he related?
Katie's boyfriend, side piece, whatever you want to call him.
All right, so Katie was the wife of Garcia, but also the girlfriend of the dentist?
Yeah.
Did you have any contact with the dentist ever?
No.
Did you have any contact with any member of the Adelson family?
No, ma'am.
Everything went through Katie, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What did the dentist, if you know, have to do with the lady in Tallahassee who needed her kids?
I don't know nothing about him.
So Luis Rivera testified that he was told this murder was all about Wendi wanting her kids. Donna Adelson's lawyers tried to use Rivera to cast doubt on her role in the conspiracy.
You're the one who got the gun that was used to kill Danny Markel, and you drove the car that day. You didn't shoot him, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then I said, if you would, please put the number 4 next to the man who was killed, and you did that with Danny Markel, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then I said, if you would, put the number 5 next to the lady that wanted the man killed. And did you do that?
Yes, I did.
And was that with Wendi Adelson?
Yes, I did.
And then I asked you if the two people on the top of the page who have their pictures there and the names Donna Adelson and Harvey Adelson, you see those on the top?
Yes, ma'am.
I asked you, as far as you know, were they involved in any of this? And you said no, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So I asked you to put X's next to the people who on that page were not involved in this.
Yes, ma'am.
And you did that.
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
Then testimony turned to emails that Donna Adelson wrote to Wendi about Dan.
We don't want Danny to continue his religious influence over these children any more than what he's already done. If he keeps this up, they won't want to eat in your non-kosher home. As they get older and more involved under Gibber's religious influence, they will be able to request which parent they want to live with. Don't allow Gibbers to have this power and control over them. Then in reality, he's going to have the same control over you. Dad and I is referred for the person. It's time for you to show us that you can put on the performance of your life for the next few weeks. We send this letter with our love and only the best intentions, Mom and Dad.
Have you heard about Upside? It's a free app that will give you cash back on things like gas, groceries, and takeout. Upside actually transfers the cash that you get back straight into your bank account. So when I pump gas or I go to Dunkin' for a drink, I use Upside, and I've even used it for pizza. Here's how it works. Download Upside, claim an offer, and pay as usual using a credit or debit card. Follow the steps and get paid. To find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download Upside or scan that QR code that you see on your screen and use our promo code CRIMEFIX to get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's promo code CRIMEFIX for an extra 25 cents back on your first gallon of gas. Part of the prosecution's theory in this case is that Donna helped orchestrate the murder because Dan Markel wanted to limit her time with his sons because Markel's sons told him that Donna was saying things to them like, "Grandma says you're stupid." Now keep in mind, these were little boys. Then it was time for Wendi Adelson to take the stand. She was testifying under an immunity agreement as she had in prior trials. As she took her seat on the witness stand, Donna Adelson looked at her. And she looked so sad, like she might cry, and Judge Everett actually warned her against becoming emotional. Under questioning by Assistant State Attorney Georgia Kappelman, Wendi conceded that her divorce from Dan was contentious.
At the time of Dan Markel's murder, was the defendant, your mother, very angry at Dan Markel?
Before he died?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And you hated him too, right?
At certain points, I was very frustrated with him.
Did you refer to him as an STD?
I don't remember saying that.
Tab 5.
It looks like I made that analogy.
Danny is an STD. One wrong mistake, marrying him, and this will never go away. Is that what you said?
I did.
And did you share that kind of sentiment with your mother?
I don't remember ever saying that, so I don't think it's something I said very often.
And this was said in an email on February 26th of 2013, correct?
It was.
Approximately 17 months before the murder?
Yes, I don't think it was an email, though. It looks like it was sort of an iMessage.
Okay. Did you ever refer to your ex-husband as the Dark Lord?
I don't remember saying that, but I certainly might have.
And Wendi denied being involved in Dan Markel's murder.
Were you in any way involved in the plot to kill your ex-husband?
No.
Did you maybe know it was going to happen but not know the details?
I did not know it was going to happen, and I did not know any details.
Did you provide any information, even unknowingly in hindsight, that you think could have been used to assist the murderers?
I don't think so. I didn't provide any information.
What information do you have regarding your mother's involvement in the plot to kill your ex-husband?
I don't have information.
But you do admit that your brother said he looked into hiring a hitman to kill Dan Markel.
I don't. I admit that my brother made a tasteless joke repeatedly about buying me a TV because it was cheaper than hiring a hitman.
But then someone did hire a hitman who did kill Dan Markel, right?
Yes, that happened.
Was part of the plot to kill your ex for you to have plausible deniability or to know very little about it?
I was not involved in any plot to kill Danny.
Were you shielded from the plot because, I don't know, you couldn't be trusted to keep a secret?
I was not involved in any plot to kill Danny.
Wendi also talked about the last time that she actually spoke with her mother, Donna.
When was the last time you spoke to your mother, Donna Adelson, as we sit here today?
November of 2023.
Okay. And so she hasn't given you any information or advice about how to testify in court, has
No,
she?
ma'am. No.
What about, you did offer testimony in November of 2023 as well, right, on a related case?
Yes,
Okay,
October.
And did your mom, when you spoke to her in November of 2023, offer you any advice or thoughts about how you should act or behave or what you should say in court?
Yes,
She did.
she did.
And what was that?
I can't tell you I remember exactly, but she was hoping I would be supportive of my brother.
Okay. And do you know what her thoughts were afterwards?
I do.
Okay. And what were they?
She was devastated.
She didn't feel you were supportive.
No.
Now, on cross-examination, Donna Adelson's lawyer again tried to show that Donna was not involved.
And the communications that you had with Danny during the separation leading up to the divorce and some thereafter were pretty critical of you, weren't they?
The communication on paper, which
Right.
was very different than the communication in person.
Right, but the paperwork was critical.
Yes.
And you shared that with your mother.
Yes.
And some of the things that he said to you in writing, whether they were communications or in the pleadings, upset you.
Yes.
Some of it was very upsetting to you.
Yes.
And you shared it with your mother, and then she became upset.
Yes.
And she said bad words.
Yes.
She called him a lot of bad names.
Yes.
She said ugly things about him.
Yes.
But not one single time did she ever suggest in writing or to you personally that Danny deserved to be harmed, did she?
Never.
Never said he needed to be killed.
Never.
As Wendi left the witness stand, she stopped and she hugged her father, Harvey Adelson, before leaving the courtroom. Then it came time for Donna Adelson's oldest son, Rob Adelson, to testify. We have never heard from him before, so this is really interesting. He had a lot to say about the family dynamic and what happened after Dan Markel's murder.
Based on your personal observations throughout your life of your parents and of your siblings, who is the leader in the family? Who tends to run the show?
I think my mom.
Okay, so Donna Adelson.
Yes.
Would you describe Donna Adelson's personality as being more controlling or more laid back?
I think more on the controlling side.
What about, is she kind of a more assertive person or a more passive person?
More assertive.
What about your dad, Harvey Adelson? What's his personality like?
I think he's more passive, more go with the flow.
Okay. So they're kind of opposites in that way a bit?
Yeah.
When you and your siblings were growing up, was Donna Adelson a very involved parent?
Yes.
And when I say involved, as far as with your life and with your friends and with school and with that type of thing?
Absolutely.
Did she have certain fixed ideas throughout your life of certain things she wanted to happen in you and your siblings' life?
Yes, absolutely.
Was it acceptable if you decided to not do those certain things that she was fixated she wanted you to do? Was that acceptable to her or no?
No. I think she had certain sort of rigid, fixed ideas or impressions for what she wanted for us, and if you went along with that, things were fine. If you didn't, things were not fine.
Rob Adelson described Donna as overly involved and controlling when it came to her children and their relationships, but she was most involved, he said, with Wendi, specifically when her marriage went south. Then Rob described the relationship between Charlie and Donna.
Were Charlie and Donna Adelson dependent on each other or pretty independent from each other?
I would say Charlie was probably somewhat dependent on my mom to help him out with organizing stuff, his dental practice. I think he probably relied on her a lot.
Okay. You mentioned the dental practice. When you were growing up, who owned the dental practice?
My dad.
Okay. And throughout your life, was Donna Adelson in charge of the money at Adelson Institute?
I wouldn't know the inside workings of it, but I always remember my mom signing the checks and writing the checkbook at the table when I was back in middle school or high school. So
Rob Adelson lives in New York. He described learning about Dan Markel's murder.
All right, so how did you first hear about Dan Markel's murder?
I heard the day after the shooting occurred, so that would be Saturday, July 19. I was at a meeting in Chicago, and I think I got a phone call first, and that I was in a meeting, and so I just said, can I call you later? And then I got a text message shortly thereafter, like right before 10 in the morning, that said, like, tragedy here, please call.
And are these from Donna Adelson?
Yes.
Okay. So were you able to call her that morning from the conference in Chicago?
Yeah, so I walked out and went to the hotel lobby and just hit call.
Okay, and tell us about that conversation with her.
So it's one of those moments that you'll just remember forever. So I remember being in the lobby of the Westin, and I assumed something terrible had happened, and but I wasn't ready for it. She said, so we just want to let you know that Danny's been shot, and they took him to the hospital, but he didn't make it. And it didn't make any sense. And I probably asked like a few medical questions, and they said they're driving up to go help Wendi, and we'll talk to you later. We can't talk now.
Okay. Was she crying in that conversation?
Not in that conversation.
Sir?
No, she was not.
Okay.
It was very matter of fact.
Now, this was shocking news, and it would rock most families, even if a divorce was underway, but not the Adelsons, according to Rob.
Did she ever give you any further detail that weekend about how he'd been shot, or other than just Danny was shot and he didn't make it?
I think it was the next day. So the only really other time that I spoke with him that weekend, I was in the airport going home, like Sunday afternoon, so it was definitely the next day, and it was the first time I could actually have any kind of conversation. And one of the things that she told me is, it bothered me, but I didn't have any other details about. But she said that someone went to the front door and said, "Are you Dan Markel?" and then shot him. And then I said, "Well, how could you know that? Who's telling you that?" And she said, "Well, that's just what they're telling us." And
Okay. So she said someone told her that someone knocked on Danny's door, said, "Are you Dan Markel?" He said yes, and the shooter shot him.
That's the story I heard, and later we found out that wasn't what happened. But that story bothered me a lot because there's only one way you could hear that story.
Rob Adelson described meeting with FBI agents about Dan's murder and his mom telling him not to talk to the cops. He said he tried to ask about who could have done this, but Dan Markel's murder was not a topic that was up for discussion.
Did you ever ask her, like after the murder, like, "Hey, like, what do you think happened? What do you?"
Yeah, and the conversations were kind of rerouted, or that was certainly discouraged, and it was probably like maybe sometime like mid-August, when I finally had a chance to ask and say, what is going on? This was not a small event. This was getting a lot of notoriety, and I said, what do you guys think happened? And she had said, I don't know and I don't care. It doesn't concern me.
Was that out of character for her to not be curious and not be asking some questions?
Yeah, I mean, it was an unsolved murder of my former brother-in-law, like someone that we all know very well. I mean, if it was like some neighborhood gossip, people would be interested. This was like national interest, and nobody had any curiosity about who did this to Danny.
Then Rob Adelson described learning about the arrest of Luis Rivera and Sigfredo Garcia for Dan Markel's murder. He said his mom told him about it.
When she called you, was she telling you the good news that Danny's killers were arrested?
No, just called us for anniversary, and wished us well, and had some small talk for a bit. I kind of let it go for a little bit, and I mean, this was not small news, and so I finally broached the topic and said, they found the guy, they arrested someone who killed Danny. There's no response, and I said it, at least 2 or 3 times that they made an arrest, they got the guy who killed Danny. Yeah, and then her response was, I've got to go.
And then did she hang up the phone after that?
Yes.
And did you ever talk to her about it again, ever after that?
No.
On cross-examination, Donna Adelson's attorney tried to point out that Rob Adelson hasn't visited his parents in a long time, and Jackie Fulford made one specific point.
You had mentioned in your direct testimony that your mom called and said you shouldn't talk to the police. You recall that?
Yeah, I do, yes.
What actually happened was a family friend, Michael Weinstein, you know him, correct?
I do, yeah.
Your mom indicated that he had called and advised that as a family friend and an attorney that you all should not talk to the police. That's what she told you, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how the testimony of Rob Adelson ended. The trial is expected to continue into September, and Donna Adelson is expected to testify, so stay tuned. That's it for this episode of Crime Fix. I'm Angenette Levy. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll see you back here next time.